Good morning. Good morning once again. I hope you're well. I hope you're good. Today in this lesson, I want us to talk about the gradient and equations of straight lines. We talk about gradient and equations of straight line. So let us do it straight. So gradient simply measures the steepness and slopeness of a line. When we talk about gradient simply measures the steepness and the slopeness of a line. So the term gradient simply measures simply measures the steepness or slopeness of a line. Steepness or slopeness of a line. It is given by a ratio of it is expressed as a ratio of vertical distance and horizontal distance. Gradient Gradient is expressed as a ratio of vertical distance expressed as a ratio of vertical distance all over horizontal distance. Vertical distance all over horizontal distance. So when we talk about vertical and horizontal distance, this is what we mean. For example, we have a form here, we have a Cartesian plane. I have a Cartesian plane in this case where Cartesian plane here, we have the y-axis. This is the y-axis. You all know that this is the y-axis, and this is the x-axis. This is x-axis. So in this case, when we are talking about gradient of a line, we are trying to measure the steepness or the slopeness of a line. For example, a line passing through that point. A line passing through this point. We have a line passing through this point. We call it line L1. Line L1. So when we want to give the gradient, first of all, we will look at the point where this line crosses y-axis and then x-axis. So we will talk about this point A and point B. Point A and point B. From there, point A is given in form of xy, point B is given in form of xy. Point A here is given in the form of xy coordinate. Point B, the coordinates are in form of xy. So to get the gradient, this sign stands for gradient. It's given by vertical distance all over horizontal distance. Vertical distance all over horizontal distance. Vertical distance all over horizontal distance. I hope you're following. Then from here, the vertical distance, of course, when we talk about vertical, we are talking about the vertical distance is given by the y-axis, and the horizontal distance is given by the x-axis. So we will talk about if it is these 2 points, point A, xy, point B, coordinate xy. We get the difference in form of a ratio. So gradient will be given by change in y over change in x. Change in y over change in x. So we will have, this is x1, y1, x2, y2. So we will have y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. y2 minus x1, x2 minus x1, which will be given in the form of, when we get the difference here, we get the gradient. For example, example 1, we have a question. Point A has 2, 3, and a point B has coordinate 5, 6. Point A has 2, 3, and point B has 5, 6. Now, this one stands for x1, this one stands for y1, this one stands for x2, this one stands for y2. This one stands for x1, this one is y1, this one is x2, y2. So to get the gradient is given by y2 minus y1 over x2 over minus y1, which will be y2 is 6 minus y1, 3, y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. So it's going to be, what is the value of x2? 5. Value of x1? 2. So you're going to have 5 minus 2, which is going to be 6 minus 3. 6 minus 3 is given by 3. 5 minus 2 is given by 3. Let us confirm. We say that the gradient will be given by changing y over changing x, which is y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. y2 we say is 6 minus y1, which is 3, while x2 is 5 minus x1, which is 2. So 3 over 3 is equals 1. That is the gradient. That is the gradient. Let us look at example 2. Let us look at example 2. Let us have example 2. Let us have example 2. When we are talking about example 2, let's see whether it's a little bit different. Example 2, we have again, we have points. Point C is 5. Point C is given by the coordinates. These ones are called coordinates. 5, 10. Point D is given by 12, 20. 12, 20. So if we are to give the gradient, we say gradient will be given by change in y over change in x. So what is change in y? We agree that change in y will be given by y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. Are you together? Then from there, we are going to have this one represents x1, y1. This one represents x2, y2. So y2 is 20. We're going to have 20 minus y1, which is 10. All over y2 is 20 minus y1, which is 10. Then x2, which is 12 minus 5. So you're going to have 12 minus 5. So in this case, we are going to have 20 minus 10, which is 10, all over 12 minus 5, which is going to give us what? What is it going to give us? 12 minus 5. 12 minus 5. We are going to have what? 12 minus 5. We are going to have it as what? Tell me. What is going to give us? What is it going to give us? We are going to have 10 over 7, which is 1 whole 3 over 7. That is the gradient. That is the gradient of that line. That is example 1, example 2 in this area. Let us look at example 3. That example, we have 5, negative 2 as a point A. Then we have point B as x, 2. Then we are going to have x1, y1, x2, y2, where the gradient will be given by changing y over changing x. So in this case, what is changing y? I'm not going to repeat this part. We're going to have y2 minus y1, which is 2. Minus, we're supposed to minus, but we have another minus sign here. So we're going to have 2 minus 2. 2 minus 2 all over, changing x, 6 minus 5. 6 minus 5. 6 minus 5 is going to be 2 minus minus. Where minus and minus follow each other, they change to plus. Minus multiplied by minus, we agreed is going to give us positive. So we're going to have 2 minus minus 2 is going to be 2 plus 2, which is 4. Allow me just to write it direct. Over 6 minus 5, 1. So the gradient is going to be 4. The gradient is going to be 4. I hope you have followed up. I hope you have understood how we have done it. I hope we can go to the next lesson. Let us tune to the second lesson in the area of gradient and equations of lines. Gradients of equations of line. And mind you, it's very important to know that we are talking about a straight line. Talking about straight line. Yeah, straight line. Not a line that is curved. We are talking about gradient and equations of straight lines. Thank you very much. I hope you have understood the lesson, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel so that we can grow together. Thank you.